Here we have a before shot on the front seat on the driver's side. We're going to show you the after shot on the front seat on the passenger side. So you can see the immense difference that's going to occur with the products we're going to show you. Here's some real close-up video showing you the cracking, etc., and failure in this current coloration. This is definitely recolored on the main portion of the driver's seat here. Here's a little inside shot where you can look at the seat bottom compared to the wall right next to it. You can see the major difference in the colors of gray. Now here we are on the passenger side, and you can see that the seat looks just gorgeous. There's no cracking, etc. Although this is in the shade, might give some impression that it's similar shade as the other seat. It is not. It's significantly lighter and matches the interior like it's supposed to. All the products you're going to see today are from a company called Leather Magic. Now, Leather Magic, one of the reasons I used them was they could match the colors in the Aston Martin. In other words, they can match colors in anything. In this case, of course, I had to send samples, about a 1-inch square sample of the leather from each of the two colors in the car, taken from a spot underneath the seats where you wouldn't otherwise notice it. In this case, they matched the light gray in this bottle, and they've got AM78, Aston Martin, and they match the dark gray, AM79, which is here. These two colors are really well matched. They work very well to the original colors of the car. You're also going to receive a bottle of leather cleaner. Smooths around. Looks like that. It's a spray bottle. I use regular paper towels to wash the seats with this. It removes all kinds of dirt and grime. Besides that, you get leather prep. This I also use a paper towel with. It'll remove some of the old coloration, but it opens up the pores, as they say, before you spray on your color coats. After 48 hours, you want to put on leather conditioner. They send it to you. You can see I've opened it. It's leaked a little, but this material supposedly, I think, protects the colorant you put on. It's not the only things you get. You get full instructions. You get a little paddle with it. You get some little leather repair compound, a piece of leather you might want to use, some backer, a special sandpaper. This is your leather adhesive if you're working with that piece of leather, and a sponge that I've used partway. Plus you get instructions, and you get one other thing. You get a pre-vol sprayer. Now the pre-vol sprayer, I don't recommend using. It's what they supply, and I've used pre-vols before. The one that came with the kit was defective. Not their fault, it just happened to be. But the fact of the matter is the pre-vol sprayer isn't as good as what I'm going to show you that I use. And I would certainly recommend using the single action airbrush that I'm going to show you, or one similar to it. You'll find it much, much easier to apply the colorant. Now, I've already told you, use the leather cleaner here and a paper towel, spray it on, that'll clean the seats. Nothing wrong with that at all. Perfectly good, legitimate method. So that little wipe off gets a whole bunch of gunk on. So that method works just fine. The leather cleaner comes with the kit. However, you can also, and I've tried it, works just fine with the products, you can go for using a product called Prep All. I've mentioned it in other videos for different purposes. You get this stuff in your local auto parts store, for example, like O'Reilly. Obviously, you can buy it online and other places too. So you can use Prep All. A little bit of that on. scrub this area of the seat. Prep all also takes off the dirt and grime. And you have to wait a couple minutes for the prep all to evaporate, not very long. That's a second option you can use when cleaning up your seats. As I told you, I'm using just plain old paper towels. You could use lint-free towels, old rags. This is the leather prep that they give you. This you're going to put on, so it opens up the pores, they say. So it's going to be ready to receive the colorant. And I'll just wipe this on here to show you what happens. See, some of the old colorant definitely comes off. They warn you that's going to be the case. That's normal. But in this case, since it's such dark gray, boy, I'm not unhappy that we lose some of that color, as we got to cover over it anyway. So to lose some of it is perfectly fine. That's the bottom of the seat. I have to do the back yet, but I won't bore you with that. For the next part of the job, depending on what you need to do, in my case there being two tones, I'm using orange painter's tape. Don't even try the blue stuff. It's not going to stick to the leather. It's not going to do the job. You want the orange painter's tape for this. Additionally, you may want to have something such as what you can see in the lower portion down here. That's an old pillowcase or old sheet that you can mask larger areas off so that you don't get overspray where you don't want it. The kit comes with a pre-ball sprayer. As I told you, mine was defective, but in all honesty, I don't recommend using that. I'm going to use a single action airbrush here. See, I've got some of the colorant on here that come off if I want to clean it off. And I'm using my little side cup. Fill the side cup up with the colorant. We're using the light gray. I like to shake it every single time because it tends to settle fairly quickly, I notice. It's water-based. And we are going to fill up our little cup here. Only holds a small amount. That's fine for what I'm doing. As it is water-based, it's really easy to clean up with. Another nice thing about it being water-based, if you screw it up, you can clean it up right away as long as it hasn't dried with water. Then what I will always do is test to make sure I'm getting a good spray pattern. Use a paper towel, piece of paper. Fairly thick material. You don't want to thin it down. Once you get your spray set, you just start painting. Now, for those who are wondering, I'm using 30 to 40 psi. I'm going to open it up a little bit more here. One of the things is it can plug sometimes. There, we got it. 94 degrees here. So 94 degrees, it's hard to go fast. That's why I have a can of water off screen here. The can of water is used for the purpose of making sure this doesn't totally harden up on me, but when I'm loading the next batch of color, it'll harden that quick at 94 degrees. Notice I'm not doing a good job of coverage, because you're not supposed to. It's strongly recommended to take several passes at this. Okay, we just emptied out. Put our gun down in the water. You can't see that, but it's in a can of water. And we'll get set with another refill and continue painting. I'm obviously not going to show you the whole thing. Show you a little bit of this, and then I'll show you when it's finished. Each time I like to wipe off the side of the little paint container. Make sure I'm not dripping with my gun. Whoops. Splattered. You can't see it. That's something I can see, and I can wipe it up. As I told you, it's water-based. come right off because of that, as long as it's not dry. So here we go with a second coat. Notice I'm only really working on this one portion of the lower seat section right now. 8 to 10 inches away. Good idea. Nice wide spray pattern. Single action airbrush. You could get a double action one, but there's no need for it here. I always like to start in the grooves first. Notice I've come back through those again. And to cover this, it's going to take 3 to 4 times at least. But you don't want to cover it in one shot. Leather Magic tells you it works better to do multiple passes. I got plenty of seat to work on. You can see it's making quite a change pretty quickly. And then we're out again. We're going to put our can off camera. Now I'm going to tell you something in case you screw up. That's interesting to know here. The leather prep will remove the material if you put a drop or something where you don't want it. Just remember, it's also going to remove any other colorant you might have. But that leather prep will let you clean up stuff you wouldn't otherwise think you could clean up. Some final thoughts on this. First of all, I think it's extremely easy to use. Second of all, how long is it going to take you to do it? You're going to spend 4 to 5 hours if you're doing the seat in the car like I've done it. I'd recommend taking the seats out if you can. In this car, they're very difficult to remove. Therefore, I did them in the car. Lots of electrical connections, etc. Really hard to mess with. Also very short. If you can remove yours, it'll be easier for the actual work on the seat. However, as you can see, I did it right in the car. Now, how much material are you going to need? I have about 1/4 of the light gray bottle left. Now, of course, I was going over dark gray, but nonetheless, if you're changing color or you're wanting to match the original color and somebody's put something darker like they did in this car, it took me 3/4 of a bottle for basically 2 seats and just a few minor touch-ups here and there in this car. I would therefore say if you're doing a 4-seat car, you're probably going to need 2 bottles, assuming it's all the same color. If you are doing something like a large SUV, you're going to need more, maybe 3, maybe even 4 bottles, depending on how much you have to recolor. However, it's extremely affordable. All in, even if I bought the prep ball, excluding the airbrush, because I do own that, I would have spent between $100 and $150. Seems to me like a pretty darn good value. You could do 2 seats in a day like I did. You could probably do the interior on most cars in a weekend if you want to work hard at it. I don't think you can beat the price or the results. They're not going to look like you recovered them. Boy, are they going to look nice compared to what they were. I'd give Leather Magic a try. You want to recolor leather in any car, not just an Aston Martin. We'll give you a little final shot of everything.